Howdy guys, UFC 307 just ended. Overall, it was an alright card. The main event definitely made up for most of the midness throughout. A few robberies, a shitty injury, and another good fight besides the main event. But otherwise, it was kinda shit. But let's get into it. First fight on the card was Court McGee versus Tim Means, a battle of crafty veterans, old ass unks. Court McGee submitted Tim Means round one with a neck crank. Very little resistance, easy work for the crusher. Tim Means is fucking washed. He's always been thin for the division, but my god, did he look frail. Court just ragdolled him in the grappling. Maybe not ragdoll, it's a little hard, but there was just no resistance from Tim at all. The takedown was easy, got the back easy. I think he should retire. I don't know what else he has left to offer. He's been around for ages and hasn't been doing too hot recently. I know he beat Fialho, but who really rates Fialho highly anymore? Wasn't a bad scrap for how short it was. The Battle of the Old Unks didn't disappoint. Second fight on the card, Tisha Pennington versus Carla Esparza. Tisha Torres gets it done by unanimous decision. I chose her to win because I didn't trust a fighter coming in on their retirement fight. I never do. And man, they both looked labored, slow, sloppy striking. Every round pretty much amounted to them throwing pitter-patter strikes until one of them got slightly rocked, and then Carla shooting for a bad takedown. I do think 30-27 for Tisha is a little ridiculous, but they were all close rounds. None of them were really dominant. And yeah, it was just a shit fight. I didn't care for it. It was pretty boring. The third fight on the card, Ryan Spann versus OSP. Ryan Spann pretty much dominated this fight for the short time it lasted. Landed some good leg kicks. OSP was very hittable from the start. Rocked him with a cross. They got close up against the cage. OSP shoots for a desperate single leg. And Ryan latches up a guillotine, gets in the mount. OSP tapped fast. I think OSP should retire. He is fucking old as shit. And didn't look good. Hadn't looked good for a long time. Good win from Ryan, though. Even though I hate his ass. Fourth fight on the card was Cesar Almeida versus Ihor Potieria. Holy shit, Cesar Almeida is a dirty-ass fighter. And this referee, I don't remember his name, might be the worst referee I've ever seen in a UFC fight. Round one was pretty back and forth. Kind of hard to judge it. Ihor got a takedown late, got some control time, and I think Cesar landed better strikes on the feet. Pretty even. Could go either way. I gave it to Cesar. Round two, Cesar hit Ihor with a eye poke nut shot combo, then hit him with another eye poke after that ended up breaking, and then another fucking eye poke, and he didn't get a point taken. He ended up winning that round because Ihor went for a bad takedown and almost got guillotined, got put in the mount, just getting chewed up in mount. So I gave second round to Cesar also. Third round, once again, another fucking eye poke for Cesar. Ref doesn't notice it. Ihor and Cesar start arguing in the center of the cage, and the ref is just yelling at them to keep going. They resume fighting. And eventually, Ihor gets the fight up against the cage. And after about 8 seconds of inactivity, the ref separates them. And he does this 2 more times throughout the third round. He gave them absolutely no time at all to work. Blew my fucking mind. I've never seen a referee this bad. I've seen referees stop fights way too early and practically let people get beat to death. But this was a new fucking level of bad refereeing. Good fight overall, except for the fact that Cesar was just fighting dirty as fuck. I thought Ihor's striking looked improved. Yeah, and overall a good fight. Fifth fight on the card was Austin Hubbard versus Alexander Hernandez. I went with Alexander Hernandez by decision, and that's just how he got it done. It was a close fight overall. Hubbard had more volume, and Hernandez had more impactful strikes, I'd say. Alexander Hernandez's takedown defense was really good throughout the fight. Hubbard got good entries and got it close, would normally get him to his knees, but then Hernandez would just scramble and find his way back up every single time. I'm trying to think of what else to say about the fight. There really wasn't much to say. They both looked decent. I don't think they'll ever be in the fucking top 10 or even 15, but it was an alright scrap. Sixth fight on the card was Marina Rodriguez versus Yasmin Lucindo. I went with Yasmin Lucindo, but honestly, I do not feel that she won this fight. She got it done by decision, and I just don't think she won, man. Marina landed more strikes on the feet, and I thought they were more efficient, but I guess the meaningless ground control that Yasmin racked up was enough to win her the fight. She did nothing when she had effortless takedowns, but did nothing on the ground with them at all. No striking, one heel hook attempt in the third round that amounted to nothing. She did so little that even Mark Goddard was standing her up, and that's something notable. Mark never stands up fights. But overall, it was just okay at best. Still thought Marina won. Not going to harp on it, though. It was a close enough fight that it's definitely not a robbery, but I don't know. Yasmin didn't do much. Seventh fight on the card, Joaquin Buckley versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. This fight was competitive until it wasn't. I chose Buckley by decision. I thought his wrestling would be the edge here, and while it was a good advantage, he ended up getting it done by TKO in the third due to a jumping right hook. Wonderboy's grappling impressed me a good bit in this fight. He didn't have the greatest takedown defense, but he was able to get up reliably. And Buckley's striking impressed me. He was doing very well against Wonderboy, and Wonderboy's known for being pretty elusive in his striking. But he was finding a lot of shots even before the TKO in the third round. And man, am I impressed at how fast Wonderboy still is for being 41 years of age. I know there was talks of him retiring, but honestly, I think he could keep going for a few more fights. I know he only fights about once a year. I think he should, even at this late age, he should increase that, man. He should fight 2 more times. See if he can put the pressure on a few more contenders. But for Buckley, great fucking win. Just looking awesome at welterweight. I'm excited to see where he goes next. A good fight overall. First fight on the main card, Ketlen Vieira versus Kayla Harrison. I went with Kayla Harrison. I thought she would be able to get it done a little more dominantly than she did. I honestly could see her stock dropping a little from this win. She wasn't able to get the fight to the ground nearly as good as a lot of people thought she would be able to. Ketlen put up much more of a fight. Did pretty decent. I don't think her stock went up, though. She didn't do much. She was defensively responsible. But other than that, like I said, not much. Kayla had some really good leg kicks. I think that was honestly one of her best things she did during the fight. Ketlen had some nice elbows, though, in the clinch in round 2. They were really good. They got a hematoma on Kayla's head. And, shit, I'm trying to find more shit to say. It's not much. It was a somewhat lackluster fight. It was alright. It wasn't a bad fight. I wasn't bored to tears. Second fight on the main card, Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. And god damn it, Kevin looked good before he fucking dislocated a rib or broke it. I don't know. Man, am I fucking upset. I love Kevin Holland, and this is just such a bullshit loss. I don't think it should be even considered a loss. It should be a no contest. I'm not even considering this a wrong pick. I'm just omitting it from my picks. Fuck, man. He looked motivated. He looked turned on. He was kind of tuning Dolidze up in a little bit of striking there was. I didn't like that he was sitting in guard for as long as he did. I know it's hard to get up against someone who's so fucking big compared to you, but fuck, man, it is what it is. God damn it. Feature fight on the main card, Jose Aldo versus Mario Batista. This was a good fight, and honestly, it could have been a great fight if Mario wasn't constantly doing his best Marab impression. He would shoot a takedown, not necessarily a bad takedown, but a takedown he knew he couldn't fucking get, and then just hold Aldo up against the cage. And I know he's not completely to blame for it. Jose should be able to escape the clinch, but god damn, did it get boring after a minute of Mario just doing it over and over and over. We honestly could have used the terrible judge that kept separating the fight earlier on the card. I will say, though, Mario did better than I expected him to do. I kind of thought Jose would just end up stealing away as the fight went on, but he did really good, honestly, in the striking, outside of the goddamn terrible clinching. I wish we could have seen Aldo use more leg kicks. I know that everyone knows, Aldo doesn't fucking leg kick nearly as much as he does, or did, and I think that could have really helped him in this fight. Batista was pressuring quite a lot. Aldo still looks fast as hell in his old age. But yeah, it was a fucking good fight. I can't really complain too much. Excited to see Batista keep going up the division. Like I said, he looked really good. In the co-main event, we had Juliana Pena versus Raquel Pennington. God, their last names are so similar, I thought I was mixing them up. I can't really comment on this fight too much. My phone died at the very beginning of round 2 and didn't get charged till halfway through round 4. So I can only comment on 3 rounds, really. Round 1 could have gone either way, but I kind of saw it as Pennington's round. And I also thought she definitely won 4. 5 could have also went either way, but I thought Pennington won. I don't think Pena got a 10-8 in either round 2 or 3, so even if she did win those, I still don't think she could have swung the fight her way. It was all right for what I saw of it. They definitely got a little sloppy at times, but it was all right. And in the main event, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree. This was a hell of a fight. I enjoyed this all the way through. Striker's delight. Both these guys have better chins than I gave them credit for. Pereira was eating pretty much everything Khalil had to offer. Straights, hooks, a flush head kick in round 2. He got slightly dropped by one of the hooks when he threw a kick and got out of position, a little off balance. But other than that, he was doing really well in terms of taking damage. Middleweight, he is not his fucking division. I mean, he does well there, but he does not need to return. He has clearly shown he can take a real shot at light heavyweight. I did think he looked a little sloppy in round 1 and 2. Like he wasn't nearly as tuned in as Khalil. Khalil was pumping the jab himself and landing across frequently. But Pereira really fought behind his jab in this fight. Was using it to his fullest extent. Was busting up Khalil's eye and his nose. One thing I did want to comment on is what the hell is with Brazilians and opening fights with flying teeps or jumping front kicks? That shit had me a little nervous. It was giving me Oliveira flashbacks to the Islam fight. But aside from that, Khalil definitely started to slow down in the 3rd round. And in the latter half of the 3rd round, you could see him start to break. Pereira was pouring it on heavier and heavier. And in the 4th round, it was just a fucking beat down. Pereira was pretty much doing whatever he wanted with Khalil. I was kind of worried for a second that Pereira would gas out because they were both throwing everything they had every round, high volume from both of them. But he ended up just breaking Khalil. Khalil didn't have much left to offer in the last half of the 4th round. And Pereira gets a fucking nasty TKO victory. Hell of a fight. that is pretty much it for this card. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. And I'll see you next time. Godspeed, cunts.